This video is going to be a little bit random, but at the same time important. So what I'm doing a lot since many years is I notice when I started working on my social skills, I started trying to say certain sentences, tips that I found online, like, hey, try saying this to a girl, try saying this, trying to make a friend. And so I tried all these things that they suggested. They said, like, act like this and act like that. And I learned a lot of things by doing that. But one of the main things that I learned by doing that is that when you're actually interacting with people, there's things that are going on in your body. You know, call it bodily sensations, call it feelings, call it emotions. I think probably all those things are going on. But especially I noticed that I started feeling things when I'm interacting with people, like, hey, this feels awkward, or hey, I'm actually feeling something in my gut right now. And the longer I started practicing social skills, and then I also started meditating, the more I started feeling these things. I started feeling in my body, started feeling sensations that maybe are even out of my body, so to say. It just feels like that. And not to say that it's spiritual per se, but it's just like some sensations you feel in your gut, some maybe in your heart or your chest, and then some are like a general state that you feel, and it's not necessary. You're not feeling this necessarily in a certain place, you're just feeling it. Maybe you're feeling very under pressure, maybe you're feeling very stressed, maybe you're feeling very awkward. So those are things I don't always feel in my body, I just feel them. But things that are related to sexuality, for example, I feel that very strongly in my body. When I say that, I mean, for example, in my gut, I feel it. Or, well, let's just say in my gut, I feel it. And these are things, whether you feel something in your gut, whether you feel something in your chest, or whether in your heart, it's important, I find, to pay attention to these things. Now, the reality is sometimes I also get distracted with that, that I start thinking and feeling too much about these things. And then I get so locked in on trying to get these feelings right, this state right, that I forget to actually interact in a normal way or have normal conversations. So, take this with a grain of salt, because I think it's always important to behave in a way that's sort of like expected, not entirely, but you don't want to come across as completely awkward, because that will, people will start putting you out of the group if you do these things, right? And there is a way that you can get back if you're more experienced. But generally speaking, I say, it is important that you learn to behave in a way that people expect as well. Nonetheless, if you do start paying attention to these sensations that you can have in your chest or in your gut, in your heart, when you are interacting with people, I think you're often getting more to the place where you can really develop yourself socially and maybe even spiritually. That's my opinion. I feel like when I'm really trying to work on myself socially and spiritually, I think the sensations that I'm feeling in my body and out of my body, so to say, these are the things that you want to create more stability in, you want to create advancement in, you want to perceive, you want to feel them first of all, and then you want to start noticing what about a state feels off and could be improved. Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's feeling like you need something, maybe it's feeling like you are a victim, for example. These are all things, sensations. At the end of the day, that's what they are, right? They're thoughts, but they're feelings as well. And when you can really see that in your body, when you can really feel that, and you can start feeling out where you need to kind of like shift these things in order to get rid of the needs, get rid of the anxiety, or to improve yourself in that way, then I think that's what makes the most progress. Whereas if you learn to just navigate a conversation, that in itself is a very practical skill you need for day-to-day communication, so don't ignore it. This is something I often sometimes do, and it's not good. You need the tangible, practical skills as well. But when you want to really develop yourself on a deep level, socially or spiritually, I think it's really more about the sensations, the feelings, the beliefs that you have, or the mindsets that are keeping you stuck, or at least that are preventing you from living to your full potential. And when you start becoming more aware of these, I think, that is the first step. And then naturally, I think when you start becoming aware of this, you will feel them come up, and then you will start feeling into it, and you will notice, well, I don't really need this right now. Like this, feeling this or thinking this, it's holding me back. And then you will naturally start letting go of that by just becoming more aware of it. Sounds maybe a little bit woo-woo, but I do feel like it's true. At the same time, I would suggest, if you do these things, not to get too carried away with them. They treat it seriously, but don't become don't try to become a spiritual guru, because that will just make you awkward, in my opinion. But it is something very useful. So I hope this video was useful. I've actually never talked about it in this way, but it is something that's going on. And I think also other people, at least the ones that are aware of, I don't want to say the ones that are spiritually aligned or things like that, but there is a certain truth to it, and so I think that's a valid perspective, and I wanted to present it to you in this way. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out the next video if you like this one. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.